So hello, what's up? Welcome to another revision in which we are going to revise SS 600. So what is SS 600? This is not zero. This is not zero. This is O. O for other auditor. That means you are going to use the work of other auditor. So since there is a other auditor, is there a principal auditor also? Yes. So there is an auditor of the CFS and there is an auditor of a subsidiary. So sir, principal auditor is who? Who is using the work of other auditor? Who is using the work of other auditor? That means using the work performed by other auditor is the principal auditor. Ultimately, who is responsible for giving the opinion on CFS? Sir, it is the principal auditor. Okay. Now, when do I accept my work as a principal auditor? First of all, I see my own responsibility. I see my own area, the materiality of my area. You got the point or not? Yes, sir. Then for the subsidiary, I see whether I have the knowledge. Through that knowledge, I get to know the risk of material misstatement in that business. So degree of knowledge of the business of the subsidiary, then you decide the risk of material misstatement. Based on the risk of material misstatement, you get to know the additional procedure. The additional procedure of this essay that you have to do to make sure you are sufficiently participating in the audit. Now, sir, what are the procedures? First two procedures are optional. If you want to visit the subsidiary, you can visit. You can examine their records, no issues. Acha, can I examine the working papers of the other auditor? No, Baba. You cannot examine the working paper of other auditor because working paper are the property of the auditor. These are not your property. So he may at his discretion may share with you. Okay? Remember this point. Second case, can I evaluate the competence of the other auditor if he is not a chartered accountant? If he is a chartered accountant, he is assumed to be competent. Then comes coordination. Acha, coordination after the audit is done or before the audit? Sir, before the audit. That means you need to coordinate at the planning stage. Tell him the PA. Do it with me. Do it with me. Let's enjoy. Tell him the PA. Sir, what was PA? Pa. P for procedures. Procedures of identifying the intercomponent transaction, that is the transactions between the subsidiaries, between the parent and the subsidiaries, basically the related party transaction, which will require the disclosures. Then comes areas. Areas requiring special consideration. That means these must be the areas with high risk of material misstatement. And the last point is very easy. Accounting, auditing, reporting requirement. Come on. Accounting, auditing and reporting requirement. He said that he will do it all. No, take it in writing. Obtain a representation and ask him to do it on time. Give a timetable for completion. This is the first stage done. When he is done with the work, check whether he has done the proper procedures. How can I check? You can prepare a checklist of procedure. Ask him to fill the checklist whether all the procedures are performed or not. Or you can ask him to fill a questionnaire or a checklist, and the nature, timing and extent of this review that you are doing of the other auditor's work will depend on your knowledge about his competence, whether the other auditor is competent or not. Now, sir, comes a very special question. What is the role of principal auditor? What is the role of other auditor? So they both should coordinate. There should be sufficient coordination, or you can say liaison between them. What is the role of principal auditor? Telling the other auditor the areas that require special consideration. Procedures for identifying intercomponent transaction and accounting, auditing and reporting requirements. So you just need to issue a written communication. After this written communication, if anything comes to you which is important for the other auditor, advise him. And last point is check whether he has done the work properly or not. Issue a detailed questionnaire. Now comes the role of other auditor. Sir, what is the role of other auditor? Role of other auditor is very simple. Since the principal auditor is coordinating, he should also coordinate back. He should also communicate the significant matters which are to be dealt at the parent entity level. And whatever timetable is there, he should complete the same. Second point forgot. Sir, what was the second point? Statutory requirement. Okay, just try to recall. With practice, it will come to you. Compliance with the statutory requirement. And last point was he issued a questionnaire in the last point. Yes, in your last point also reply to that questionnaire. Now comes the reporting consideration. Very easy. You feel the other auditor's work is not adequate. You are not getting proper evidence from your other audit procedure. Then you issue a qualified or disclaimer of opinion because you have not got sufficient and appropriate evidence. In case in the subsidiary auditor's report, there is a modification. Then in that case, you need to check whether the item is material. At consolidated financial statement level or not. Accordingly, you also decide your modification. Now comes your division of responsibility. It was very, very easy. Like in the group audit part, we studied about the division of responsibility. you should clearly state the amount of work which has been done by the other auditor. Here they have given in the form of the number of divisions, number of branches, but there we studied in the form of aggregate amount or percentage of total revenue, total assets, total cash flows. Come on, total revenue from the P&L, total assets from the balance sheet, total cash flow from the cash flow statement, and it shall be before consolidation adjustments. 5 minutes and 30 seconds it took us to revise this essay, and I'm sure you will secure 5 out of 5 marks in this essay. Everyone, how was essay 600? Jaldi se batao. Jaldi se batao, jaldi se batao. Tell me fast. How was essay 600? Come on, come on, come on. Bring a smile on your face. Chalo, tell me, tell me, tell me. Study well. Awesome, sir. Awesome. So we are done with today. Today what we did? Sir, today we did essay 620. Today we did essay 600. All the questions of 620 done, done. Now, in case of essay 600, let me just see if there are any questions which I should do with you in the class. Let me just go through it. Okay? This is your essay 600. Sir, first question is a direct question which talks about the role of parent entity and the subsidiary entity. Direct question that we just covered from the notes. Even if you are covering the question bank, your revision will be done. This question is about asking for the working paper. This is a different question, but again, I think you will be able to handle it. Very easy question. Just read through the answer. Everything we have covered in the class. Everything we have covered in the class, giving you for homework. Just that you need to break up the answer. That role of the auditor and the company's auditor, essay 600, these are the procedures that we have already covered in the class. Okay? Then you just need to apply some other other essay, that is essay 230. Give a reference about that. That's all that you need to do. Now comes question 3. It is again a direct question. Factors you consider while accepting the audit as a principal auditor. So trust me, you people are awesome. Okay? You people are awesome, and I always end something on a happy note. So my request to all of you, please revise what we studied today, so that when we come to the next class, you are more happy, you are more energetic, and you are more dedicated in the class. Okay? So that's all for today. Keep studying like this. Keep studying with happiness, because then only we progress. Have an awesome day ahead.